Hello everyone, this is Stefan Schreibeis, the Superintendent of Glendive Public Schools. And today I just wanted to talk to you about the difference between what a levy is and what a bond is. And so the easiest way to understand this is something that's listed here. Levies are for learning and bonds are for buildings. Now it's a little bit more complex than that, but that's the general idea behind that. And so you've seen over the years levies come in front of the voters and bonds, and some people get really confused by what that means. And so hopefully this video will clear some of that up. And the basic idea behind a levy is it's really about the learning environment. The unfortunate part of being in Montana is the burden to the taxpayers is great when it comes to public schools. The federal government gives some money for different programs that they are mandating the schools to do, but then after that the state has to come in and supply the rest of the money. And so in Montana, the burden really does go on the taxpayer, the local taxpayers especially, but then also taxpayers throughout the state, because even some of your local money that goes for school taxes doesn't actually come to Glendive Public Schools. It gets to the state and they reimburse it. They basically redistribute it to everyone. When it's a levy or a bond, it goes directly to our school system. And so over the years, you've had some building reserve levies, you've had some general fund levies, and basically the whole premise is when the state gives us all of our money, but yet there is a gap between that and our actual operational costs, the government allows us to levy to a certain amount. And that's why you've seen some of the general fund levies, which are really based off of operational costs. You've seen some building reserve levies, which is just really helping us keep up with the maintenance of the schools. And when something breaks, having money to be able to do that. And so that's really what it is. And so it's not all just for learning, it's really the learning environment, which means some building renovations and stuff, but they're pretty minor at that point for levies. But when you get into something that's a little bit more entailed with buildings, so building a new building or some major renovations, now all of a sudden a bond measure might come forward. And if you look anywhere across the state, when they're looking at building a new building or having major renovations, it's always a bond measure. And the reason why that is because the bonds actually allow you to spread out that cost into a 12 to 30 year time frame. And so in this bond before you, it is actually 20 years is what we decided on, because anything more than that was going to be way too much interest, and the cost savings for that just really didn't match up to how much money you would be paying over 30 years. And plus, 30 years is a long time to not have to go back to the voters and so forth. And so we really felt like 20 years was the appropriate amount for this. But that 20 years allows those bonds allow us to spread out that cost so it's not a huge burden on the taxpayers. And so those are the big differences. Levies are really for the operational costs of the district and trying to make sure that we can pay for those operational costs. And then bonds are really for those major renovations, new schools, and so forth, which allows us to spread it out so that taxpayers aren't burdened with a huge chunk. Allows us to do it better that way. And so, as always, though, if there's more questions that you have, please contact me anytime. I would love to be able to answer any and all questions related to this or anything else that we're doing in our school district. And this is Stefan Schreibeis reminding you to be kind and love like crazy.